If you're watching this video, you're probably wondering what it's like to enroll your kid into the Czech public school system. As a foreigner, it can be a little bit confusing. So as we've just gone through the process ourselves, enrolling 2 out of our 3 kids into school, I thought I would share some tips and give a little advice on how it all works. Asher has just started at a mateřská škola, and Layla has started at a základní škola, which starts at age 6. Both enrollment processes are generally the same. The first thing you're going to want to figure out is where exactly your kid is going to be going to school. This is typically dependent on what district you live in. It works pretty much the same in the States. You live in a certain county and your kid has to go to school within that county. Now in Prague, there might be more than one school within your school district, so that's definitely worth looking into. The next thing you're going to want to do is research. Researching the school is going to be super important because some schools have a lot of foreigners and they just have better tools and resources to help those kids, and some might not have any. This might be also dependent on where you live. It's a matter of just doing the research, maybe asking a neighbor, and definitely calling the school and figuring that out. Definitely look at the options within your area. What's going to be really important is to figure out if any of those schools in your district have foreigners already at their school and how they help them integrate. How willing the school will be to integrate your child is really just dependent on them. I'm assuming if you're closer to the city center, they're probably accustomed to dealing with more foreigners and it might be a little easier, but if you're outside of Prague, it might be a little more difficult. But like I said, it's all really dependent on the school. Each school, they have to accept your child no matter what, but obviously you're gonna wanna find a school that is going to be welcoming and will want to help your kid adjust. Keep in mind, there is the possibility that you could call a school and want to sign up your child and they just not have any more room in their classroom. So in that case, they would send you to the next school in that district that does have room. We actually ran into this problem with our daughter Layla. The school that I wanted her to go to that I knew they had foreigners at, they didn't have any room. So they sent us to another school. But the other school, actually, when I sat down with the principal, he was like, well, she's gonna have a harder time here integrating because we don't have any foreign kids in this school because they're all at the other school. So they ended up making an exception, so she was able to go to like the better school for her. But there is the chance that they can turn you away, and that's where the Czech friend or someone Czech speaking comes in handy to maybe help persuade the principal or whoever's making the decision to help you out. So once you guys have found a suitable school that you know has room, the principal will probably invite you to come sit down if you're calling about enrollment, and this will be where you will fill out paperwork. Now the paperwork will all be in Czech, of course, so this is where having a Czech friend comes in handy. And of course, just throughout the year, you want to be able to communicate with either the principal and the teacher that your child is going to have. At this meeting, you will need to provide a rodný list or a birth certificate, as well as a piece of paper that you can get from the úřad, just stating that your child is registered within that district at a certain address. Now at the základní škola, it is a free public school system, so you don't need to pay for them actually going to school. You will need to pay for lunch, and this is something that the teacher or the principal will discuss with you and just show you how to set up payments online, and that's pretty much that. At a mateřská škola, you will need to pay for the child's enrollment. It's a pretty low cost, especially if you're comparing it to, say, like American preschool costs. It's going to be very, very little. I'll make another video kind of comparing the schooling systems. So I will share prices on another day. But yeah, so you will need to pay for that. But for základní škola, that is free. So then comes the fun part, getting to meet your child's teacher and possibly their classmates as well, and seeing, of course, where they're going to be going to school every day. When we met with our teacher, she showed us the kids, she walked us around the school, showed us where the lunchroom was, kind of explained more how the lunch situation works. They get a little chip, they scan it when they go in, and I just have to pay it every month. Again, if you don't speak Czech, this is where a good friend is going to come in handy, because throughout the year you're going to want to communicate with your teacher. You're going to want to know how your child is integrating and what you can do to help them integrate. If your child doesn't speak any Czech at all, I would highly recommend, if they're starting from like age 6 or up, to maybe enroll them in like a Czech language course, get them in a Czech, I don't know, dance class or sport, just to have them around the language all the time. Layla is 7. She knows a couple words, but she is not like conversational. So just having that communication with the teacher, so I know if she's progressing or not, is going to be super important. We were lucky enough to find a teacher that is communicating with us really well. We know kind of what to work on with her and what she needs to be doing, what is helpful for her to be learning to say, to communicate with her classmates, and so far so good. Some schools even offer Czech courses right at the school, so it's definitely something worth asking about if your child doesn't speak any Czech at all. When we first met Layla's teacher, she gave us some resources and things to help her. Now, I do speak Czech, and the main thing has been speaking Czech to her at home. But if your child doesn't speak Czech at all, it's just really important to get them surrounded by the language as much as possible. School here only goes from about 8 to noon, and then there's an aftercare program that's also just like a small fee. So Layla's also in that till about 3 o'clock every day, and I think that also helps her with the language, just so she's around the kids more. And so that's definitely something to ask about as well. It's called družina. And yeah, I think the main thing, if you don't speak any Czech at all, just find a good friend, a good translator to just help you throughout the year and have that strong communication, so you know that your child is progressing. Layla has been at school for about 5 weeks now, and so her integration process has really just started. But so far so good. It's intimidating. I know it's scary for her. She's 7 years old, so it's a lot to take on: a new school, a new country, and new friends that she can't understand. So it'll take time, but it is possible. I definitely think just encouraging your kids all around and surrounding them with that language, play Czech music, play Czech TV, and try and learn some Czech yourself if you are not a Czech speaking person yet. There, of course, are the private school options. I know there are some Czech and English schools. Maybe if your kid is a little bit older, that might be worth the investment for them, as it might be a little bit harder for them to integrate. But that's totally up to you. I just wanted to share our experience. I know I was doing a lot of research online, trying to figure out how the heck to do this whole moving to Czech thing, integrating and enrolling and all that, and I couldn't find much information on actually enrolling the child into school. But yeah, I hope this video helps you. Good luck to you, good luck to your kids if you guys are planning on moving here or are already here. I do plan on making more videos, and yeah, please consider subscribing and liking this video, and I will see you guys next time. Naschledanou.